Ciao everyone! Welcome to another live city tour in Italy. Today we are going to Palermo, which is in Sicily. It's the capital of Sicily. We're going with Linda, also known as the Cheeky Chef on Instagram. We'll just wait for a few people to join. Just wanted to remind everyone that I have got a lot of virtual city tours on my Instagram feed if you want to have a look at some other ones after this too. And I've just started a YouTube channel, so you can jump onto that and I'll upload all of the live city tours there too. Okay, I'm going to add in Linda. I can see that she's joined. Very excited to get going. Linda, you should receive the invitation.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
You
How
too.
are you?
We have a gorgeous day today. I'm so happy.
Amazing. It looks beautiful. Oh,
Yeah, it's
so excited
beautiful
for
here.
you.
Thanks
Amazing.
for
Well,
having
Linda,
me.
thank you so much. Before we get into it, would you like
hmm
to just say a few things about yourself, introduce yourself for people who might not know you?
Sure. Just let me know that you hear me okay. I have the
Perfect.
headphones. I don't know if that helps. It's a little chaotic here sometimes, so I'll do my best. My name is Linda Sarris. I'm on Instagram as the Cheeky Chef. For those of you who watch this later, you can give me a follow and send me a message with anything you want to know about Palermo or Sicily. I'm a private chef and a travel consultant who's based here in Sicily. I live in Palermo in the historic center and travel around Sicily and southern Italy a lot for cooking. And last year I wrote a travel guide that's coming out in the spring. So, I help people with their travels, and I cook for private retreats and creative camps, artist residencies, and things like that.
Oh, sounds amazing. Yeah, everyone needs to check out
Thanks.
Linda's Instagram after this. Look at the photos, places to travel to, all the food. It's utterly dreamy.
Thanks. Yeah, it's gorgeous. I
Oh.
love being here. I lived in New
Mm.
York City for a long time and traveled in Sicily now for about 10 years. I came here in 2011 for the first time. And one of the best things is just the weather and obviously the food and the warm people. But after spending a winter here where we have blue skies almost every day, I never wanted to go back to the US and be covered in snow again.
Oh, I can imagine. How warm is it there at the moment? Like we're in
Today
January
it's
now.
55, which is maybe
Ah.
12 Celsius. Yeah,
Oh,
it's gorgeous. It feels a little chillier than you would expect, but hello. And but it's a gorgeous day. Blue sky, sunny. I can turn you around.
amazing. Look at that. Oh,
Yeah, I'll tour you around Palermo for probably the
yeah,
next half hour.
perfect.
Show you a
Amazing.
couple of my favorite spots and take you to the market, which is in the Balero neighborhood, and that's one of my main things I do for work is take people around the market. I do
Mhm.
street food tastings, and then I also do cooking lessons and have lunch together at my home.
Amazing. That sounds great. Okay. Well, I think we can probably get started then. I'm
Okay,
ready
so
for
I
the
will show you a
program.
couple things around here, and then
Yes.
as I walk to the market, we can answer some
Mhm.
questions and just chat a little bit as I move between the two main spots.
Sounds good.
Okay, I'll
Amazing.
turn you around.
Awesome. So I'm gonna go to the market with you. Me too.
Okay, so here it's called Cuatro Canti. It's one of the main meeting points right in the center of the historic part of the city. So it's sort of the four corners where they built this octagonal square right between the two main avenues in during the Spanish period. So it's gorgeous. There's fountains at the bottom, and then a statue that represents the four seasons. There's the
Wow.
Spanish kings in the middle, and four
Wow.
different saints of Palermo at the top.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and so what I
Beautiful.
love is they call it the theater of the sun. So any time of day, one little corner of it is lit up.
Oh, that's so sweet. Absolutely gorgeous.
Okay,
Yeah, and
so
you're
here we are. We're going towards the train station.
mm-hmm.
But here's another part that I love. This is in all the pictures of Palermo pretty much. This is the Piazza Pretoria. So they carved out this whole square when they bought this fountain. It was built in outside of Florence for a noble family. And then pretty much when they went bankrupt, they sold it to the city of Palermo. And so we have this. This is the town hall where the mayor is. Behind is the Church of Santa Caterina, which actually has a little secret pastry shop inside.
Yum.
So I give these tours of Palermo, which are mostly food tours, and point out city sites along the way.
Amazing.
Yeah. So Santa Caterina is a gorgeous church to visit. You can go all the way up to the top there on the roof and look down at the fountain.
Oh, amazing view, I can imagine.
Yeah, and also has this pastry shop inside where the nuns typically made a lot of the pastries in Sicily. They invented a lot of the desserts. So now they open this shop so that they can save some of the old recipes that people are not making anymore. So they took recipes from maybe 20 different churches and convents around the city, and then they're selling these desserts in the church so that they can preserve this tradition of making these little cookies and cakes and things that nobody makes anymore.
Oh my God, amazing. So it's not just your typical cannoli, I guess, that you're getting.
No, I mean, actually they make an incredible cannolo, but they have all these little cakes and things that maybe you've never heard of. Lots of almond cookies and all kinds of marzipan, the almond paste, fruits.
Well, that sounds
Here's
amazing.
another main attraction. This is called Piazza Bellini. So you can see the Church of Santa Caterina. I was talking about. You enter the pastry shop. I don't know if you can see where I'm pointing, in this little tiny door here. This used to be the old Royal Theater. This is another gorgeous church, the Chiesa di Martorana, which is actually where they invented the little marzipan fruits.
Wow.
And then this one, San Cataldo, is another famous church in the square.
It's gorgeous. And the styles are so different too. I guess reflective of these different
exactly. So Sicily's been conquered by everyone pretty much. So you see that in the food and you see that in architecture everywhere, that there's all these different layers of the history. So this church, at least, you can see that there's almost 3 totally different parts with all different architectural styles.
Wow. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a nice day. We're lucky.
Empty this morning as well.
Yeah, it's a little sleepy, but it's nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
Catching a run. Okay, so I walk towards the Balero Market, which is that's the neighborhood where I live. And I do all my shopping. I do these market tours, and I've kind of made my own little community there because I chose to live in that neighborhood as soon as I came to Palermo full time.
Wow.
And I pretty much go to the market almost every day. So it's nice to see that local people are really shopping there. You see little grannies with their carts going to buy their vegetables. And it's a very much like lived in city. And the neighborhood's a little more chaotic than other places, but I felt like that was the place I wanted to be when I moved from New York to Palermo. I picked the neighborhood where a lot of the immigrants live, and just felt like it was a nice mix of different cultures in one place, which felt a little easier to adapt to from going from New York to Sicily. I wasn't going to live in a little village, so
no, definitely not.
I ended up in Palermo.
It's interesting because I think maybe while you're talking, we can chat about what is it really like living in Palermo. I had a few people message me, which I mentioned to you, that have not visited yet and are curious to visit, but maybe we're a little bit intimidated or a little bit nervous about Palermo. Maybe some things that they've heard about safety.
Well, I moved here as a single woman, a foreigner. I moved to maybe one of the more a little bit rough around the edges areas, and have always felt safe there, never had any issues.
Amazing.
In the markets and things, I always just tell people to keep an eye on your stuff. Like anytime you're in a crowded area, you want to just be aware of your bags and things like that. But I've never had any issues here. I've always felt very safe in Palermo. I live in the historic center, so I walk everywhere. I don't have a car. I ride a bicycle, but it's nice because everything I need is within like a 20-minute walk.
Yeah, amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And it must be so different, just worlds away from living in New York as well, like two.
It is. Yeah. I mean, definitely the pace is different. Everything is like slow living, very relaxed. I mean, the people here work really hard, and there's a lot of like movimento, a lot going on, but it is a fun place to live. Palermo has a big university, so there's a lot of students here. There's a good nightlife. There are museums everywhere. So it's a nice city to visit when you're coming to Sicily, especially because we have the two main airports, one in Palermo, one in Catania. Yeah. So people tend to like start or end their trip here in Palermo.
Yeah, wow. And I mean, as you're walking, I wanted to ask too about obviously food. You're going to the market, but if you have any tips on places to eat in Palermo or your favorite place to eat.
Yeah, and I can put them in the comments or something later, but one of my favorites is called Corona Trattoria. It's an unfortunate name in the last few years, but it's the family name. That's a wonderful like fish and seafood trattoria. Ayamola is another one I love. It's more a little bit more refined, but still focus on traditional flavors and fish.
Someone said, someone's saying plus Mondello.
Yeah, exactly. So because Palermo's on the coast, it's not technically a beach town, but we do have a nice beach, sort of the suburbs of Palermo, called Mondello, where there's a big sand beach, which is nice. You don't find that too often in Sicily. We have a lot more rocky coasts and a little bit more difficult for swimming, maybe with little kids. But when you have a sand beach so close to the city, it's nice because you can just pop out there for the day.
Yeah, gorgeous. Oh, heavenly. Some people were saying before as well that it's low and they cannot wait to visit.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful all year round, pretty much. I think you just would cut through here and then end up like in the middle of the market.
Amazing. And there's a few different markets in Palermo, is that right?
Yeah, historically there are 4. Now we technically have 2 that are still really up and running. Balero and Capo. Capo is behind the Teatro Massimo, the big opera house. Yeah. Also right in the city center. And those are the 2 main ones that are still very lively.
And someone was asking as well about flea markets in particular.
So we have a lot of vintage antiques and flea markets, usually on the weekend. Yeah. And one of my favorites is in Piazza Marina, which is near the harbor. And then there are some great vintage shops for clothes and bags and vinyl records and things like that. And then also in Balero, this neighborhood we're in now, they have some like sort of unofficial vintage markets on the weekends where people, it's more like a garage sale where people just put out a few things that they have on the street.
Yeah, sure. Wow. Amazing.
Okay, here we are.
Amazing. Before we get into the market, I just want to quickly say, someone asked, what are your favorite museums and churches in Palermo?
Churches I love, there's Casa Professa, which is a Baroque church in this neighborhood. One of the pictures I sent you that you had up in the stories was San Giuseppe di Chiatini, which is right off of the Cuatro Canti.
Beautiful.
And museums we have all throughout the historic center. In the Calza, which is closer to the harbor, there's Palazzo Abatellis, which is a regional museum of Sicily, and more like contemporary museums right near the cathedral.
Yeah, cool. Sounds like there's a lot to do. Oh, and here we are.
Okay, so here we are. Everything, it's a little loud here, so just let me know if you can't hear me. But everything is very green.
Yeah.
Very green this time of year. We have artichokes. Balero is typically a much more affordable market, so the prices are a lot lower than other parts of the city.
Interesting.
Everything is very lively, vibrant. Sometimes the vendors are yelling out, what they have for sale.
Yeah.
Here's one of my favorite things. We have motorbikes everywhere, just a little busy. Ciao.
We feel like we're there.
This is one of my favorite street food things. It's called Spinchone. It's like a fluffy focaccia pizza.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is that underneath the cutting board, he has we can see. He has this little oven.
Oh my God,
where he
so
toasts
cool.
them underneath. Grazie. Where he toasts everything underneath. So you're getting you're getting these pizzas that are actually made all in one bakery in the town, but then the vendors resell them during the day. And so because they're baked at night at like 4 or 5 in the morning, each cart has their own little toaster to reheat it so that when you eat it, it's nice and a little bit crusty and warmed up.
They've got it sorted, don't they? They know what they're doing.
Exactly. Okay, so fruit and veg things, everything is laid out in a very thought out way. So this here is called a insalataro, is someone who sells salads. So fennel, lettuces, radicchio.
Lovely.
Okay. And then, some vendors have just vegetables, some have just fruit. We have fish markets and meat in this neighborhood. This is another street food thing that I love.
Ooh, what is this?
And this changes with the seasons too. So she's doing panelle, which is a typical chickpea fritter that you see only in Palermo.
Yep. Yeah.
And then changing with, this time of year, these are like battered and fried broccoli, which is actually more like cauliflower.
Yeah.
This is a cardoon, which is in the artichoke family.
Wow.
And these here are artichokes.
Yeah. Yum. Delicious.
So Balero has a mix of things. We have illegal cigarettes. We have fruit and vegetables, fish vendors. They do a mix of things in this market. It's not just food. So we have some home goods. Here, this girl sells these really beautiful, like Sicilian headbands and aprons. She's doing masks now, purses, all with like, typical prints and prickly pears, that kind of stuff. And she's really cute. She sells dresses too. And then she will, like, if you come and check the stuff out, she will dress you. Like, she'll put the headband on you. It's like a little fashion show. But I bought a couple things there that were really nice. And so this one, they're yelling. Here we have some clothes, and it's a little more like flea market-y. So Balero has more than just food. Here's fish.
Yay!
sardines
Amazing.
and anchovies.
Ooh, so good. My favorite. And have you got your preferred vendors that you go to every week, or are you kind of
Oh my
chopping
God,
and changing?
absolutely. I think
Yeah,
that it's
I love
important
that.
to know who you're buying from, and
Absolutely.
especially as a with fish, of course, like you want to be getting really fresh stuff. But for
Yeah,
me, as a foreigner, as a single woman,
yeah,
I didn't want to get ripped off. So I build these relationships where I continue to buy from the same people, and then
yeah.
they give me a good price and they give me good quality stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, they get to know you and they look after you.
Exactly. And so here we have an olive vendor
Yum.
selling. These are from
Mm,
Castelvetrano. These are the
mm,
sweet black ones that the late harvest and then salt and
good.
olive cured. All kinds of oranges and all the citrus
And
stuff now.
the oranges are like from Sicily, my God, they're out of this world. They are
But look
so
at
good
this
with.
too. Sicily
Oh
prices. A
my God, you
kilo.
don't see
This is
that in Spain.
a kilo of tangerines for 65 cents.
Yeah,
So
I don't see that where I am. It's amazing.
no, but 2.2 pounds of fruit for 65 cents
Isn't that
is
crazy?
amazing.
Wow.
So I
Yeah,
have
and
some more
Sicily's
fish stuff here. These are more things like ciao. These are
Ooh,
more things you would do for a fish. Oh, he's alive. Fish soup, broth,
yeah,
brodo,
yum.
or even ciao, Angela. Even couscous. You would use this kind of
Yeah,
mix of fish. Ciao. So I come to this market every day. It's like my little comfort zone. And
so
so
good.
I always tell people, like when I was going back to the US for Christmas, I
Yeah.
was so worried that in New York, no one would say good morning to me. Just like
Oh,
walking down the street, in New York, everyone's got
yeah.
their own thing to do. But here, I feel like that scene in Beauty and the Beast where everyone is singing and saying good morning, popping
Yeah,
up
you're
everywhere.
very popular there. I can hear everyone saying, Ciao, Linda, ciao,
Yeah,
Linda.
it's cute. Okay, so here we have citron.
Mm.
Look how big they are.
Ooh,
Okay,
enormous.
so this is not a lemon. It's called Cheddar Citron. So when you
This is
cut through it,
cool.
it's a lot more pith than
Yeah.
flesh and juice. So you actually can eat the whole thing. You slice it up in a salad. You can eat the entire
Mm.
fruit.
Wow. What would you
These
put it
are.
with, Linda? Salad.
I mean,
Sorry, I'm like,
I usually do it with fennel and radicchio, that kind of stuff, like a winter salad.
yum.
Here, these are blood oranges, so they're a little more expensive,
Yeah.
140 a kilo. Grapefruits,
Yeah.
not super common, but in this time of year we get grapefruits.
Yeah.
Lots of artichokes.
They're already prepared, those ones, are they?
Now these little ones are just trimmed.
They're just trimmed, yeah. And then you've got
I
the
mean, I
longer.
just like I'm obsessed with the price. This is very different than in Rome or in a big city. This is 50 cents a piece, which is actually kind of high, but it changes every week.
Yeah.
And our
Wow.
artichokes have these little spines. You see like the little
Mm.
spike on there?
Yeah.
Um, they're very flavorful, but you just have to be careful when you're peeling them.
Yeah, sure.
This is the wild fennel,
Oh, yum.
which is actually like
Beautiful.
usually you have the little white bulb at the bottom. But
Yeah.
this is a different plant in the same family where you eat only the greens.
Oh.
And so this is typical in Sicily in winter and in spring. And it
Mm-hmm.
goes into our pasta con Lazarde, which is one of the most famous dishes here with sardines and wild fennel and
Mm.
toasted breadcrumbs, sometimes raisins, pine nuts.
Oh my God, delicious.
Here's
Someone was
another
asking
olive
before.
vendor.
Mm. Yeah, someone was asking before, Linda, if you have, I'm sure you do, but some favorite recipes from the area or dishes that you really love.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I love this pasta con Lazarde, the sardine dish, because everybody makes it in a different way. These are
Mm-hmm.
capers. which are typical in Sicily, where you get them packed in salt and they don't come in a brine, which maybe, I don't know about in Australia, but in the US, we usually get them in a jar with liquid.
Yeah, I think I can't even remember now. I think you can maybe get them both ways. I've
So we
become so
get
used to
them
it.
packed in salt, and
Yeah.
you just have to soak them in warm water before you use them.
Yeah.
Another thing I love is caponata.
Oh my God, me too.
Obsessed. Everybody makes it in a different way. Every town, it's different. Every family makes it different. And for me, it's like any way you make it, it's delicious. That's typical.
How do you make it?
It's a sweet and sour eggplant. It's like a warm salad, kind of like if you think like ratatouille, but sweet and sour with eggplant, olives, capers, onion, celery, and a little bit of tomato. Some people put almonds, and when you don't have eggplants, they substitute pumpkin or artichokes. Yeah, it's
Wow.
nice.
Delicious. You know, I was listening to a podcast the other day about Sicily, and someone was saying the same thing, that there's so many different recipes, and someone uses pears in theirs as well. Ooh.
Oh, nice. I had it once with apples, and it
Apple,
was
yeah.
amazing. Okay, this is called a frutta secca. It's like a dried fruit and nut and bean shop.
Yum.
So here I get lots of beans. We eat tons of legumes in Sicily. It's something very filling. It's usually quite cheap, so it's something that grows really well here. So we have lots of different kinds of lentils. We have black lentils, green lentils, fava beans. And so I buy all this kind of stuff here. And then they do dried fruit like this, and then candied fruit, which you get on a lot of the desserts. So cassata is the cake, is like a sponge cake with marzipan and candied fruit and ricotta cream. And then you would get these big candied fruits on top.
Amazing. So beautiful and vibrant, the colors.
Yeah, and they're, whole fruits. Here is like an entire orange, or maybe it's more like a mandarin, but the entire thing. And because it's cooked in syrup, these are pears.
Wow.
This is a kind of like a squash, and the orange zest that everyone loves.
Yum.
So
Amazing.
I come here, pick up 2 or 3 things a day. I eat for a day or 2, and then I come back and buy stuff again.
I love that way of shopping as well.
Yeah, and in this neighborhood too, like I said, we have a mix of cultures. We have North Africans, we have people from Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. So you find we have different stands with products like this, like plantains, chili peppers, okra. These are kind of like Scotch bonnet peppers, all kinds of root vegetables like yucca and sweet potatoes. And so I like that in this neighborhood, I can get a mix of ingredients. It's not just eating Sicilian food all the time.
Exactly.
But, I found a nice place where I felt comfortable living here and trying to make the neighborhood my own and not feel so much like the foreigner, but like someone who's really invested in staying here.
Yeah. Have you picked up any of the dialects, Linda?
I don't think I'll ever be able to speak it.
Yeah.
But I'm finding that I understand a lot more.
Wow.
And now, especially I have a partner who doesn't speak English, so that's helped me a lot with my Italian.
Very good.
And then, of course, with COVID and sorry, my phone went to sleep.
Oh,
with COVID, I couldn't go home, so I spent all the holidays. I spent all the holidays with his family.
Perfect.
Who speak mostly in dialect, and so I was just really immersed in it for a while. And I pick up a word here and there, and
yeah, it's so different to Italians. Yeah,
I feel like it's almost more like Arab.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a little difficult to understand. They speak really quickly. The words are a little bit flowing into each other, and so I used to say, like, even if I could translate the words, I don't even know what words they're saying.
Exactly. Oh, wow. Well, it just sounds amazing,
Yeah,
Linda. So
I'm
you've been in
happy. And then I
amazing.
get to the end of the market.
Yeah.
Hang on, this is the like sort of beginning. I get to the very
Oh,
end, and then I have my kitchen studio right here in this building. So we do the cooking
wow.
lessons, you know,
So,
buying everything in the market and then going right into cooking and having lunch together.
my God, that sounds amazing. So if people want to
Yeah.
book that, they can just go to your website
Yeah,
and
through my website and the links in my Instagram, everything will get you there. And people can write me
yeah.
directly.
Amazing. And I wanted to ask you quickly too about Pantalaria because I've
Yeah.
seen, you're doing tours there as well. Maybe some people might be interested in
Yeah.
that. It sounds
So Pantalaria is an island that's part of
amazing.
Sicily, but it's actually closer to Tunisia. So it's between the main island of Sicily and Africa. And you
Mm-hmm.
can fly there or take a ferry, mostly in
Yep.
summertime. It's a great place for wine tastings. It's a beautiful place. The entire island was named a national park. So there's a lot
Wow.
of places for hiking and being outdoors, and gorgeous swimming spots in summertime, and also hot springs. So it's nice because you can go in spring or in fall and still have a swim because they have the
Oh,
hot springs.
so nice. Amazing. And
Yeah.
you're offering a tour there to
Yeah,
women today.
I have a ladies only wine tasting trip there every October.
Yep.
And then I usually go a few times during the year. I help
Mm.
manage some vacation homes there. And so I've been doing a lot more in Pantaleria over the last few years. So, of course, if
Amazing.
people are planning trips and they want to come to Sicily or they want to make it down to Pantaleria, I can help them with organizing whatever they need.
Big. I think we might need to do another live there at some stage because
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see
No,
it
it's
and I'm
very
very
wild and natural. It's an old volcanic island, so all the beaches are black stone, and it's very beautiful,
wow.
especially in springtime. It's covered in wildflowers.
Oh,
Um,
oh,
Very different
heaven.
than the main part of Sicily.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, amazing. Well, Palermo just looks fantastic. I've been there once before, but it was
Hmm.
too quick. So I need to come back, book a tour with you, see the
Yeah,
market, do a cooking class. I think anyone who's watching, I hope that this has inspired people to visit Palermo and at least the
yeah. I mean,
market.
it's a beautiful city, and Sicily itself is so varied that from town to town, you could spend 4 weeks here and not even cover it all.
Yeah,
But I like organizing trips, and I tell people to start in Palermo or end your trip in Palermo so that you get a little mix of the countryside, the little towns and villages in the hills, and a big city. You get a whole mix. But I do these market tours and cooking lessons, and I think it's always a good intro if that's one of the first things that people do when they get here, because
yeah.
then the things that I talk to them about, they'll continue to see and understand a little bit better through the rest of their trip.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, amazing. Well, everyone's saying
Thank
thank you for
you.
being here. So it's been fantastic. I'm going to save this on my profile and I'll
Okay,
upload it on
thank
YouTube.
you.
And yeah, people can watch. And oh, one person asked us before we go quickly, what are some of your other favorite cities in Italy, I guess?
I mean, I love Catania, which is
Yeah.
maybe because I'm foreign, but most people say you either like Palermo or Catania. I don't like them both, but I adore Catania. It has great nightlife, even better than here.
Huh.
There's way more students in Catania than in
Yeah.
Palermo, so it's easy place to maybe travel solo. You'll find people who speak English there. Great bars and restaurants in Catania. And
Yeah.
the landscape is totally different because they're closer to Mount Etna, the volcano. So they have all black stone architecture that was, everything was built because they had an earthquake and volcanic eruptions and things over the years. So they rebuilt everything with the black lava stone that they had. So it's very different over there. But then, of course, I love little towns like Noto, Modica, Ragusa, all in the southeast.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love it all. Trapani, I love. which people tend to skip, but the province of Trapani is gorgeous,
You need to
and the
go.
food is very different
Yeah.
depending on where you move around. The cuisine changes, the landscape changes. There's just so
Yeah.
much to see.
There's so much to see. You could live several lifetimes there, I think.
Yeah,
Yes, you could Ortigia as well. I love Ortigia so much.
I love Ortigia too. I just saw that pop up. Ortigia is the little island that's the oldest part of Siracusa, so south of Catania, and it's
Yeah.
very beautiful and dreamy. It's a nice place to visit during the tourist season, from let's say like April to October.
Yeah.
When you visit a place that's a little bit more touristic in the off season, it ends up being a little too sleepy. Some restaurants are closed. It's not as lively as maybe it would be in the busy times of the year.
Sure. Well, thank you, Linda. It was
Thank
great to
you. So
have
nice to
you.
see you, and I hope we
You
can do
too.
something together in person.
Absolutely. That sounds like a plan. Thank you and have a lovely
Thank
afternoon.
you. Bye.
Thanks everyone for watching.
Thank
Bye. Ciao,
you.
ciao. Ciao.